What's going on, everybody? Saberwolf94, and they've done it again. They've done it again. They one-up themselves from Ultra Prism. Every set, man, that comes out, I'm thinking, they can't make it better, and they make a set stronger. This is another strong-ass set, Forbidden Light, our upcoming set. It's gonna come somewhere in May. I'm not sure, but it's every 3 months, something like that. So, you know, Ultra Prism came out in February, early February, so I'm guessing May. So this isn't that big of a set, only like 94 cards, and it's probably going to have a lot of the shit from Ultra Forces and other cards bundled in our English release, but doesn't matter. The point is, it's a relatively short set, at least the Japanese one here. So we're going to look at all the cards. So execute, I don't think it does anything. Oh, actually, yeah, it searches your deck for other execute, put it onto the bench. I don't know what this Pokemon is doing here, but Forbidden Light is going to be the Kalos set. This is going to be the Kalos themed booster set. Ultra Prism War for Sinnoh. This is going to be Kalos, and next is going to be Hoenn. I can't wait. But anyway, let's look at the cards in this set. So we got Alolan Exeggutor. So this is a stage 1 Pokemon with 160 HP. That's pretty good. So yeah, shit is getting stronger and stronger. So 160 HP is very good on a stage 1 Pokemon. It's probably the highest we've seen if you exclude things like Wailord. It even surpasses Blissey. That Pokemon usually has a lot of HP, like 140 and shit. I think maybe there's Blissey with 162 nowadays. I'm not sure. But anyway, Tropical Shock, it's going to do 20 for 1 for each. No, it does 20 more for each different kind of energy in your discard pile, but only up to 5 different energy kinds can be counted. So basically what this means is if you have 5 different kinds of energy in your discard pile, it's going to do 120 for 1, if my maths is correct. So it does have a cap, but it's still a very powerful attack if you get it set up. You put those energies in the discard pile and shit. You do what you're going to do. If you use this in expanded, you use shit like a battle compressor. It's not that hard, and it's going to do a lot of damage for 1. The good news is that usually, compared to other Pokemon that might not have, like, they have other shit that sort of ruin the card, this Pokemon has a lot of HP. It's a stage 1, so it should be pretty solid. It's a solid Pokemon. Alright, so next up we've got the Scatterbugs. They're kind of interesting. So this little worm here, caterpillar, whatever, has an ability. You can only use this on the first turn, but basically you can search your deck for a Spupa and a Vivillon, however you pronounce it, and you put them into your hand. So it's a good little search ability, I guess, to help you out to get to your dude. You can only use this first turn, however, so you're definitely gonna want to open with this dude on your bench because active, that's not gonna be good with 30 HP. Or you're definitely gonna want to be able to search that super quickly because you can only do this first turn. And if you do, I guess it's a decent little searching effect. It's good when your stage Pokemon that you're trying to get out, the stage 2 Pokemon, the other forms do some useful shit too. That's good stuff. So you have this little trick, I guess. The other one doesn't do anything, I think. Yeah, just a regular ass attack. And then we got Spupa. I don't think you do shit either. Yeah. But Vivillon is kind of solid, I guess. I mean, 130 HP isn't that amazing. This is like 4th generation HP standard shit. 130 HP is not good anymore for stage 2 Pokemon. I mean, it doesn't even have free retreat. At least, I guess, Crobat might still have 130 HP and shit like that, but it has free retreat at least. This doesn't. But the attack is solid, I guess. It's a 1 energy attack. They gotta do this stage 2 Pokemon these days if they're gonna compete. They have to work with 1 energy. And it does Vivid Powder. basically a 1 for 50 attack, but your opponent is poisoned and asleep. So, not that great of damage, but has these mini effects, I guess, to make up for that. With poison, that's a little bit more damage. That's 60 damage. If your opponent keeps the poison Pokemon, it's going to be 70. And you can do all sorts of tricks with survivors and shit from Burning Shadows, Verbank City gyms, and all that kind of stuff to boost the damage, I guess. And the sleep, it's a nice little bonus. Do I think this card is going to be very good? Probably not. But it's okay, I guess. It's not complete shit, unworkable. The fighting resistance is solid, and one retreat, I guess, isn't terrible, even though it's not free. So, okay, alright, we're getting warmer. Next up, Skiddo, I don't think you'd do anything. No, search your deck for grass, okay. Goat, though. 120 HP, stage 1 Pokemon, okay, decent. Flip to coins. You heal 40 for each heads. It's there, I guess. And double edge, it's going to do 120 for 3, basically. Double cutout is compatible. But you do 30 to yourself. That's not that good, but I guess it's understandable, maybe. I feel like a lot of Pokemon just can do this sort of damage, 120 damage, much easier. So having this kind of side effect isn't good. So not that good. I think the other one from Crimson Invasion, that could go, is much better. Basically, I think it does like 80 for 3, and then it can do like 160 if your defending Pokemon is grass, something like that. I don't remember. Anyway, then we got Feromasa, the Ultra Beasts. We're going to have Ultra Beasts in here. So this one, 110 HP, and doesn't have a retreat cost, so that's pretty good. High jump kick, 1 for 20. Good early attack, always nice. And White Ray is going to do 90 for 3, but if you have one prize card remaining, it does 90 more damage, so that's 180 damage. So I guess if you're winning, if you only have one prize card left, and then this attack basically says just, yeah, we're going to make sure you win, all out to win kind of thing. You push for game for sure. I mean, I guess if you only have one prize card left, you should be in a good position. I mean, I guess if your opponent is close, then maybe not, but it's a nice little side effect. 3 for 90 isn't like the hottest thing, but for a basic Pokemon, it's solid, I guess. So it's a nice little effect to have. The Ultra Beasts always do shit with the prizes. You'll see other cards too. So it's a nice little add-on, I guess. Good attack. And we got a Alolan Marowak, 120 HP fire Pokemon. It has a costless attack like the other one from Crimson Invasion as well, I'm pretty sure. You search your deck for 2 basic energies and you put them on a Pokemon any way you like. Pretty good, but these kinds of effects, like I've said, I mean, I guess it's not that bad being a stage 1, but naturally it would have been better if it was a basic, because you're going to need at least one turn to get this dude out, and you really don't want to do shit like that. After a couple of turns have passed, you're just now going to start grabbing energies. But you never know. Who knows? I'm not the greatest player. We have shit like Leafeon GX that can quickly evolve Pokemon these days. I don't know. And a little circle, with 1 DC, you're going to do 20 damage for each Alolan Pokemon you have in play. This is actually kind of good. I'm not sure if there are any... Oh no, yeah, we do have a lot of Alolan basic Pokemon. So I feel like this is a much better attack. You don't really need to accelerate energies if you're going to use this Pokemon as your main attacker. You just attach a DC on, and it's going to do basically 120 if you have a full bench. Yeah, 6 Pokemon, 6 Alolan Pokemon, 120 for DC. Not bad. Fire, it's going to hit some cool things for weakness, the Metal Pokemon and the Grass Pokemon, shit like Leafeon GX, and I'm pretty sure the Psyduck GX is weak to fire too. So yeah, these Pokemon probably might become more and more of a problem. So good stuff. Good stuff. All right, now we're getting into the good shit. my favorite cards, at least some of my favorite cards from this set. But let's look at Fennekin first. Uh, doesn't do much, just a 3/4, 1 for 30 fire attack. But I love the art. I like that they recycle. They just use, the concept art. Not this one, but the previous one here. Cool shit. Breaks and doesn't do anything either. But yeah, the fucking Breakson. Oh no, not Breakson. Oh man, I'm clicking on the same shit again. Delphox. Delphox. If we can finally click it. Man, what the fuck? Oh shit. Came here somehow. Forbidden Light. Forbidden Light. Alright, let's see. Where are you? Delphox, finally. Alright. Fucked up there. But Delphox is pretty good. So 150 HP. It's good. It's okay. Other Pokemon hit 160, but it's pretty good. You know, the retreat cost isn't that big, too. And has Magical Torch. So once during your turn, you basically can instantly burn the defending Pokemon. So that's pretty good. Blaziken from Platinum was my dude back in the day. I liked using that Blaziken with the Blaziken FB. Back then, you kind of instant burn the opponent, did more damage with Blaziken FB level X. I think this can do some cool shit as well. With Burn, maybe we can combine this with the Infernape from Ultra Prism. It's 2-stage 2 Pokemon, so I'm not sure how good it's going to be, but there must be another Pokemon that gives us this extra this benefit when you instant burn something. So I like this very much. It's pretty good. The cool thing is that now with the enhanced burn mechanics, where they get hit for 20 every turn, it basically is instant 20. So that's the greatest thing. That's very good. It's basically 20 free damage. And Fire Spin is a pretty solid attack too. You're doing a 150 for 4. You discard 2 energy attached to this Pokemon. So good shit here. I really wish we had like some fucking electric dynamo shit for fire, but yeah. Uh, with the burn and fire spin and I guess a choice band, you can do some pretty solid damage, get some knockouts on GX Pokemon if you really try. Of course, the cost can't be difficult, and you discard energies too, but it's an attack with potential. Magical Torch is great though. Fucking amazing art too. I love the art. Uh, Delphox, one of my favorite fire starters. It's probably my favorite fire starter. I mean, I go between it and the Torchic. But yeah, okay. Next up, we've got Litleo. This pretty good art as well. I like when they do this kind of, not CG art, I guess, but good shit. It doesn't do anything. But let's look at Pyroar here. So Pyroar, 120 HP. It's got Unnerve. When your opponent plays an item or supporter from the hand, prevent all effects to this Pokemon. So basically, this is like the Omega. I think it was Omega, the ancient trait that Primal Groudon had, and some other Pokemon, where you ignore item and supporter. I mean, I guess it was only items for those Pokemon. This you ignore supporters, so maybe it's better. Solid ability. And dominate Fang, not dominating Fang. If you have Flare Lab in play, this attack does 60 more damage. So that is a stadium in this set. We haven't seen this kind of thing in a while, I think. I don't remember where a Pokemon requires a specific stadium to do more damage or have an effect. But if you have that stadium out, you're going to do 140 for 3. And this is DC compatible too, so not bad. Stage 1 Pokemon, solid. It's fire, so once again, you can hit a lot of significant things for weakness. Good. Next, we've got the Greninja line here. We got 2 Froakies, like with Fennekin. The one with the concept art here. Looks nice. It has an ability. If this Pokemon has a water energy, no retreat cost. So, I guess a nice little thing to have. The other one doesn't do anything. I think, yeah, just has attacks. This one looks pretty cool too. Yeah, the art, they're getting better with the art, I feel like, from black and white. maybe even X and Y. They got better. I wasn't really feeling the art in a lot of cards after Diamond and Pearl, but they're getting better, making them feel more natural, like there's shit going on in the background. Alright, next we've got Frogadier. So basically this guy and Greninja, they kind of act like the Golbat Crobat line from Phantom Forces. This dude, when you play him, when you evolve to this dude, you put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. So this is like Golbat, basically. And Greninja GX here, when you evolve into this dude, you drop 3 damage counters anywhere. So that's the same as Crobat. So those Pokemon proved to be pretty solid, even though they weren't, people didn't think they were that great immediately. They did end up doing some shit combined with fast Pokemon like Landorus. So I'm thinking these Pokemon can be pretty good too, especially because they've got the effect, but unlike the Crobats, this dude can actually attack too. It's a mixed bag, to be honest. Has some good shit and some bad shit. For example, 230 HP is not, super high for a stage 2 GX Pokemon when you've got, the other guys like Metagross hitting 250 and the other dudes. And turret tree cost isn't exactly super good too. I mean, you would think if it has 230 HP and it's fucking Greninja, it will have like free retreat, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, turret tree cost. And Hazy Slash, it's going to do 110 for 3. And you have the option to shuffle this Pokemon back into the deck. So this is a nice little side effect. The damage isn't that super crazy. But when you always have this option, you can just put the Pokemon back into the deck with all the cards, and you can kind of like scoop yourself up, I guess, and prevent yourself from getting knocked out if you were close to getting knocked out. These kinds of combos. I'm sure it will come up. People are going to use it, but 1 for 10 is not the greatest. And Shadow Assassin GX isn't that amazing too. It basically is a 130 snipe. That's basically it. I don't know if there's like an error here or something, but from what I understand from what it says here, it is a 130 snipe anywhere for 3 energy. That's actually even weaker than NTGX's snipe doing 150. Now that dude couldn't snipe the active, couldn't attack the active if it wanted to, and that does matter sometimes. I found out in a game as well. But this is slightly weaker, and you can hit anybody, the active Pokemon too. But when you think about it, it's a stage 2 Pokemon, so I don't know. It's kind of the ability is great, the attack is decent. Shadow Assassin GX is also kind of decent, but I feel like the best thing about this card is the ability only. So I don't know. I guess if it's going to be combined with other Pokemon too, the ability is still pretty useful. So yeah, Crobat didn't really act as an attacker, so people might just use this for the ability, the Frogadier for the ability too. And I guess in water decks it can attack as well. I still feel this is a solid card though. It's probably not as good as it could have been. It could have been broken, but it's a solid card. One of the better GXs probably. We're going to see the rest too. Alright, then we got Clauncher. I know you don't do anything. Clawitzer. Let's see. I know this Pokemon is shit, but I guess we got to look at the cards. The evolution Pokemon at least. So this dude basically does the swallow shit. The first attack, just make sure that your second attack is going to do a lot of damage. Stand by. You do this, sharpshooting is going to be 120 next turn. And sharpshooting without that effect basically does 40 for 1. And it's a snipe. Now, I don't feel that's pretty good. Um, Swallow, of course, from Guardians Rising wasn't that great either. But at least it does damage with the first attack, and you have the potential to be invincible too. And you were going to do 120 next turn anyway. This, I guess it gives you the ability to snipe, but it's not good. It's shit, man. Yeah. Oh well. now we've got the fossil Pokemon, Amara. Not gonna do anything. It always pisses me off that all these fossil Pokemon, the stage ones, they never do shit, man. Anyway, Auroras, the main dude, if we're gonna use the fossil Pokemon here. 160 HP. Uh, Decent, I guess. Well, not decent, it's good, but it's supposed to be a stage 2 Pokemon. But the fossil Pokemon are usually more of a pain in the ass to get out. They changed the fossil rules here where the fossil trainer is basically a basic Pokemon, but still, I mean, 160 HP, alright though. Frost Wall, it does 3 for 50, and basically, the next turn, this Pokemon will not receive damage from evolved Pokemon's attacks. So, this kind of trick, this kind of stun effect, has proven to be something. A lot of the EX evolutions had these kinds of attacks where they either blocked damage from basic Pokemon or evolved Pokemon or did some other shit. I always forget, but I think Jolteon on the X blocks basic Pokemon and Glaceon on the X blocks evolution Pokemon, something like that. It can come up. I mean, the most popular Pokemon now, Pokemon now, fuck, uh, are evolved GX Pokemon, but 50 damage isn't that good, so yeah, I guess it's there. And Blizzard Burn, it's your 150 for 4, and this Pokemon can attack next turn. Decent, I guess, decent. It's not shit, it's just it doesn't have something that really makes it stand out. I don't know. It looks good at least, too. Bergmite. Discard your opponent's stadium card and play. If you do, instant paralysis. Okay. And then Avalugg. This Pokemon doesn't do much either. More stadium hate, I guess. Frozen Ground is going to do 80 for 3. And your opponent can't play a stadium card. And Skull Bash, just 100 for 4. Not that great. 140 HP is okay, I guess, still. But that retreat cost is, of course, big as fuck. Anyway, let's see. We've got the Prism Pokemon, the first one here, Volcanion. So, I guess if you're running Water decks, maybe you're going to put this guy in. He's pretty good. Jet Water Discharge. You can discard a water energy from your hand, and it's a war point for your opponent, basically. Your opponent switches their active Pokemon, one of their bench Pokemon. Pretty good. And Sona Bomb basically ensures that fucking Kyurem from Black and White will never be used again and expanded, probably. If you run that tech in a Blastoise deck or some shit. It's going to do 100 for 3, and it does 20 to all of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So instead of doing 30 to everybody like Kyurem, you're going to do 20 to the bench Pokemon, but you're going to do 100 to the active. So it's a pretty good attack, not going to lie. 160 HP as well, pretty good Pokemon. Alright, it's much simpler to use, I guess, than some of the other Pokemon like Darkrai maybe and shit. Alright, next up we got Heliolisk, 100 HP, doesn't have free retreat. Nah, 1 for 20, that's not that impressive. And Shockwave, 80 for 3. And I guess if you flip heads, paralysis. Yeah, just basic stuff. Alright, next up Esper. Does this do anything? No, not really. Meowstic. Let's see here. Teleport Break. Switch this Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. Okay, so the switch, hidden switch it. And Psychic. Your Psychic attack basically going to do more damage if your opponent has more energies on. Alright. Next we've got the Honages, the Aegis line. Basically this Pokemon, if it gets knocked out with Agony, 3 damage counters on defending Pokemon. So I guess it's solid, it can come up. I mean, Normally don't want to leave your little dude to die there. You want to evolve him. But if it comes up, I guess 3 damage counters can be something. The other one doesn't do anything. Dew Blade, I don't think put 3 damage counters on all Pokemon with Pokemon tools attached. It's a good little spread, I guess, but your opponent will need to have a bunch of tools, I suppose. I mean, I guess if they have at least 2 Pokemon with tools, it's 60 for 1, so it's alright, I guess. And now we're going to look at the main guy, I guess, Aegislash. So this dude, 150 HP, alright I guess. The fire resistance ghost Pokemon have and weak to dark ghost Pokemon shit. And Grave, basically, you do this and the defending Pokemon next turn, if it gets any damage, it is knocked out. If the defending Pokemon is damaged by an attack on your next turn, it is knocked out. So I guess with this attack, what you do is you set up the defending Pokemon to kind of get 2-hit KO'd, kind of shit. I mean, people can definitely play around this kind of effect. If they switch and shit, I'm sure it basically negates the effect. It's not going to work. So you got that. But at least it works on 1 energy and any energy too. So maybe you can try and do some combos. Drain Slash isn't that amazing either. It's going to do 90 for 3. Not that good, man. And it heals 30. But that's pretty weak healing. I mean, if it healed as much as it dealt, or healed, I don't know, like 60 or some shit, something like that, maybe you can try and make this kind of like a tank, but fucking Torterra from Ultra Prism basically does this better, and that Pokemon can't do shit. So even if the Drain Slash was better, I don't think it would have been good. Cost 3 Psychic Energy too. But yeah, I might have some hope though, although I think other attackers are gonna utilize the next card better. So the next card, uh, this dude doesn't do anything, but Malamar right here is gonna be some shit. So you look at this card, not very special, stage 1 Pokemon, 90 HP, shit attack, but Psycho Recharge is basically fucking Electric's Dynamotor and Bronzong's Metalix from Phantom Forces. Energy acceleration from the discard pile on Psychic Energies though. I'm not sure if there are any errors, but from what it says here, once during your turn before you attack, you may move 1 Psychic Energy from the discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon. It is basically Psychic Energy acceleration from the discard pile. Rayeels Dynamotor style, basically. So this is precisely the card those big Psychic Pokemon that need a lot of Psychic Energies need. Man, I'm thinking, I remember when I did the Burning Shadows review, and you had Nekrozma over there. This is precisely the card it needs to be broken. There's going to be actually another Nekrozma here card, the Ultra Nekrozma, that might even be better, but you can use that too. Uh, Pokemon like Lunalas, the Lunala GXs, and all that shit, uh, they're going to appreciate this card, grab Psychic Energies, and try and move them around. Many different combos. Like I've said, they're one-upping themselves with these sets. This is a very strong card. I mean, Malamar isn't a Pokemon that I really like, let alone one of my favorite Pokemon, but this ability I definitely like, and it's definitely going to see play, I feel like. We also got the fucking Lunala, the Dawn Wings Necrozma actually. The Dawn Wings Necrozma from Ultra Prism 2, which is basically your Keldeo. So the deck basically has everything it needs, so you can run like a Psychic kind of rayeels. Instead of Rayquaza, you're going to use maybe the Necrozmas or other powerful Psychic attackers. You got your Dawn Wings Necrozma there, and you got your Dynamotor shit here, so you're good to go. I feel like this is going to be a pretty strong deck, pretty strong theme. So this card definitely one of the strongest in this set, definitely. All right, and next we're going to look, well, Squirrel doesn't do anything. Uh, let's see, Dragalga. So this dude, 120 HP, 1 retreat, okay, decent, solid. Poison Point. When this Pokemon receives damage from your opponent's attacks, It poisons the opponent always. So I guess that can be kind of good. You don't really want to let your opponent attack you to activate this, but it's there. It's a solid effect. I think fucking Haunter from Arceus had this too way back in the day. There was a Haunter that did this shit. Twister, 2 for 16, you flip 2 coins. For each heads, you discard an energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. Wow, this can be kind of annoying. Has the potential to ditch 2 energies. If both are tails, it doesn't do anything though. But it can be kind of annoying, I guess. Even if you discard 1, I guess 2 for 60. Whatever. Decent attack. The ability is the main focus here, probably. The instant poison. I feel like there's other ways to do poison strategies though than let this Pokemon like get attacked to inflict poison, but I guess it's another poison Pokemon. Okay, next we got Hoopa, basic psychic Pokemon. Yeah, psychic Pokemon are gonna get a lot of power with that Malamar doing shit. Uh, the Nekrozmas, they're gonna be very good, and I'm trying to think if there are other basic psychic Pokemon, GX psychic Pokemon and shit. Man, maybe even some leftover Psychic EX Pokemon are going to be able to utilize this shit. So this dude for Hoopa is a basic Pokemon, 80 HP. I guess it's one of the smaller legendary dudes. Hyperspace Ring, you search your deck for 2 item cards, reveal them, put them into your hand. So this is a pretty good searching ability. Since it's a basic Pokemon, if you start with this dude, it should be efficient, grabbing you 2 item cards. Nice, nice. And Confusion, that's not gonna do shit. It's just 10, and it might paralyze on a coin flip. But the main attack is gonna be Hyperspace Ring. Support Pokemon here. So maybe you might use this, I guess, in these Psychic decks as another little tech dude. Alright. Next we got Cubone. This is for Alola Marowak. This Pokemon's art is so fucking amazing. It's cool, cute, and just great, man. Love it. Doesn't do anything, 2 for 40, and you can attack next turn. But this is obviously, you're going to use this if you use a little Marowaks and shit. Anyway, next we got Pancham. I know it doesn't do much. If it has a darkness, it's going to do more damage. 40. And then we got Binacle. The kind of art that I like. You got the realistic background and the Pokemon here. Man, they used to do this in the DP set, Secret Wonders, Great Encounters, all that shit. It was pretty good. This Pokemon does 10 for 1, and you draw a card too. We don't see that all the time. Usually Pokemon that just attack to draw a card, they don't do damage. So yeah. And you're gonna evolve into Barbaracle, of course. Another stage 1 Pokemon with solid HP, I guess 130. 7 Shock. If you have 7 cards in your hand, your opponent's active Pokemon is paralyzed. So this is kind of a very specific cost, but I guess it's possible. The problem is that it doesn't do that great of damage. 30 for 2. I mean, I guess with a paralysis, I don't know. And a Claw Slash is just 90 for 3. Pretty mediocre, I guess, but maybe you can try and do some paralysis shit. I mean, when you've got the fucking Raichu from Burning Shadows, I don't see why you would use this, but I'm sure there must be combos. Of course, fucking N is still around, so that can fuck up your plans. There's many ways to fuck up your opponent, to fuck up your plans of having exactly 7 cards, but I guess the effect is there. Next up, we got the Tyrant. Pretty unique art looking like this, almost looking like a different Pokemon when I saw it from afar. Yeah, unfortunately, this Pokemon is another one of those stage 1 fossils that doesn't do shit, man. It just does 2 for 40, and the coin flip attack, crunch, just 1 for 20. It's gonna discard an energy maybe if you get heads. Whatever, not good. So your only hope is gonna be Tyrantrum. Good old T-Rex dinosaur shit. Okay, so this Pokemon has 160 HP. Like Aurora's, it's not shit, it's good, but since fossil Pokemon are kind of a pain, you'd hope they have something more, like at least 170 maybe. So Tyrant Heart, I'm sure they're gonna probably change that in English, but if you have the same amount or less Pokemon at play than your opponent, this Pokemon attacks basically do 60 more damage. And if you got more, it does 30 less damage. The drawback side effect is kind of annoying. Uh, I mean, I guess you can control it maybe, but if your opponent starts to run out of Pokemon and you've got some shit left, you're going to do less damage, and that can be pretty fucked up. But if you get the positive side of the effect, doing 60 extra more damage, it's powerful. It only has one attack, Crunch, but doing 160 for 3 isn't bad, and you always discard energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. I feel like Rampardos might still be better. It's just easier to use if you're going to use fossil Pokemon, since it can do 1 for 80 and shit like that. I'm pretty sure that was the attack. But I guess you can use this guy too. Uh, its attack costs more, and I guess it can do more damage with Tyrant Heart if you use it right. Decent little Pokemon, can do some tricks, but they need more. Fossil Pokemon need more. Damn it. Looks nice though too. Halucha, I don't think you do anything. Just high jump kick, 1 for 20, and sky drop. 80 for 3 is unimpressive, and it's going to get weaker if your opponent has a big retreat cost. Not good. Then we got the Zygardes in here. All the forms, basically. You got the Dog Dude, Earth Aura. This Pokemon attacks damage isn't affected by weakness or resistance. It fucking sucks because you want to hit things for weakness. You'd rather not have the effect at all, to be honest. Not care about resistance and just being able to hit for weakness if you can. And Peacemaker, if your opponent has an Ultra Beast in play, basically it does 30 more damage, so 60 for 1. Pretty mediocre. I mean, I guess if they have an Ultra Beast, but you can't hit for weakness anyway, so what are you gonna do, like two-shot them? The regular dudes, and the GX ones, you're never gonna beat them, so kind of Ultra Beast hate, I guess, but yeah, let's see the other ones, if they're better. And you got the original Zygarde, I like to say, from X and Y. This Pokemon does Glare, 20 for 2, and if you get hits, it's paralysis, alright. And Calm Strike, if you use the GX attack in the game, it's gonna do 120. So this is like the Darkrai's attack from Burning Shadows. If you used, or no, if your opponent used the GX attack, you do more damage. But that does 160, this does 120. I guess this you can control better, but I mean, I guess it might be alright. I think they're better basic fighting Pokemon to use as additional attackers or techs to your main fighting GX Pokemon, like when you're running shit like Buzzwoles and shit, and Lycanrocs, I don't know, but I guess it's alright. 130 HP should be solid. The big guy, of course, is this dude, Zygarde GX. So it goes from 190 HP, the Zygarde EX, to 200 now. Yay. More annoying to take down. This is a basic Pokemon with 200 HP, so already this is a good thing. You got Cell Connector, that's 2 for 50, and this is DCE compatible, so has kind of the vibe of Rayquaza from Guardians Rising because it also attaches 2 energies, but you have to attach them to yourself. So you do 2 for 50, and you can grab 2 fighting energies from the discard pile, attach it to this Pokemon. So it's self-sufficient, and it's going to do very solid damage. The other attacks cost a lot, 4 energies as you guys can see, but with Cell Connector, you know, you got benefits from strong energies, and from what I understand, it doesn't say they have to be basic here. I don't know, so maybe you can attach strong energies from the discard pile too. Maybe, I don't know. It says fighting energy, so yeah, maybe no, you can only get fighting energies, but still, 2 for 50, you grab 2 energies. Not bad, not bad. Lance Wrath is going to do 130 for 4. Other Pokemon can do like 130 for 3, but I guess it's self-sufficient, like I've said, has more HP. and Judgment GX 150 for 4, and you won't take any damage from EX or GX Pokemon next turn. Uh, it it is kind of okay, I guess. People can play around it. Once again, uh, fucking what's it called? Toxapex can do this for 3 energy and it's immune to everything. But there's a little combo you can do. There's going to be a supporter that you can kind of use, and you'll finally be able to use a GX attack more than once. I knew that we're going to do that someday, but yeah, we're going to see that soon. So I guess this Pokemon might be a good fighting, I guess, GX addition to fighting decks you might want to consider. It has more HP than the other dudes. It's slower, but I guess you can use DC and use Cell Connector. I feel like this Pokemon might be able to work better with Lycanroc because uh, you'll be able to utilize DCs this way. Uh, Buzzwole only needs 1 fighting energy to work, and this dude needs a DC to do the first attack. So I guess if you use this with Lycanroc, you have 2 guys that can use DC. So I think they kind of can work together maybe. So you have that Lycanroc as an attacker too. Its GX attack is much better than this. But anyway, solid Pokemon. Diancie Prism. Now, okay, this Pokemon is busted too. Man, fighting Pokemon always have so much power. So there's a Prism Pokemon, Diancie. Has 120 HP, is the first one that doesn't have 160, I feel like. The attack isn't that great. Diarain, it's going to do 90 for 3, and then you heal 30 from each of your bench Pokemon. Okay, I thought it healed from itself. So you get a little bit better healing since it heals from all your guys. Maybe you can use this, it can come up. But the busted thing about this Pokemon is Princess Well, whatever that name is going to be. Basically, as long as this Pokemon is on your bench, damage done by your fighting Pokemon, all your fighting Pokemon is increased by 20. Fucking strong, man. This is strong. This is, damn, it's like all fighting Pokemon, the support they have is just more damage. You got the strong energy, you got the stadiums. They just boost damage all day, man. So even though this is 1 card, even if you can get this effect for a little while, that maybe you grab this Pokemon early, you have it on the bench, and maybe eventually it dies, even if you can get this effect for just a little bit, 20 extra damage for free, man, is fucking strong. With strong energies, and this Pokemon, it seems like Buzzwole GX is going to do even more damage for free for 1 energy. With the Regirocks and shit, it adds up, man. It fucking adds up. I mean, I guess eventually Regirock might rotate out, but we got the card in the X and Y premium collection too, so maybe it's gonna stick around. But I mean, either way, combined with Regirocks and this, you're gonna do free fucking damage, man. Super strong. So this is definitely very good. I mean, Psychic Pokemon are going to be pretty powerful with Malamar here, so I don't know if fighting Pokemon are going to be able to compete and deal with the other shit they already have to deal with. But this card definitely helps you a lot. Even if it's only 1, if you get the effect just for even a bit, it's pretty strong. All right, because we got another Rockruff here. Let's see if it's going to be better. Actually, I'm curious than the other one we already have. No, it's just worse. A coin flip attack. Right. And we got the Day Lycanroc. Okay, so this Pokemon has the same Axel Rock attack, 3-400 like the other dude. And Death Rock is going to do 20 more damage times the number of Pokemon in your opponent's bench. So it's not exactly Empoleon. It only factors in your opponent. It kind of reminds me of, yeah, it's the same attack from Entei from Ancient Origins. And no, that fucking Cobalion didn't do that, but Entei, I know it does that. So this Pokemon, I guess if your opponent has a full bench, it can do 120 for 2. Solid, I suppose. Of course, your opponent can control how many Pokemon they play on the bench, but I guess it's a good little attack. It's better than the other regular Lycanroc, Day Lycanroc. Has more HP too. Alright, so they made that guy completely useless, the other one. Hate it when they do that. Anyway, so Pangoro, 130 HP, typical darkness stuff, resisting psychic and shit. Rough Punch. If this Pokemon has any damage counters on it, it's gonna do 100 for 2, 50 more damage. And yeah, both Pokemon are confused, I remember. I read this card before. It's not that amazing. I mean, I guess doing 100 for 2 might be okay, but it confuses yourself as well and the opponent. So maybe, I don't know. Uh, People can play around confusion easily, especially now with the Dawn Wings nekrozma and shit. And then we got Double Stomp, 80 damage, and you flip 2 coins. It's gonna do 120 with 1 heads and 160 for 2 heads, I guess. Not that special, not that special. Next up, we got Yveltal GX. Man, I checked this card out when it first came out. I thought this card, like, was gonna save the Darkrai shit. Like, I was thinking when the Yveltal GX comes out, the Darkrai decks are gonna be good. It's gonna be the partner that Darkrai needed so they can fuck things up together again. But this Pokemon is very mediocre. Wow, my shit is so slow. But as you guys can see, it has 180 HP, a fighting resistance, the lightning weakness, and the 2 retreat. So its stats are basically the same as the Yveltal EX, not any kind of improvement. So I guess that's not bad if the attacks are good, but it's not great either. It hasn't improved. Absorb Vitality does 1 for 20, and you heal the damage you do. So if you put a choice band on, if you got the fucking Reverse Valley, I think that's what it's called, I always forget, or the Wasteland, Devoured Wasteland, basically that gives you more damage to Darkness Pokemon, 10 more. You can potentially, I guess, do 60 for 1 and heal 60 if you're attacking a GX or EX Pokemon. But it's not that efficient. It can attack quick, that's the plus, and you can heal as well. So it's kind of good early, but it won't be good for long. The other attacks are not that good. Evil Sonic, it works with any energy, but it's just 100, and it has the terrible cursed effect of not being able to hit for weakness. You don't want that. I mean, it doesn't hit, it's gonna be unaffected by resistance too, but 100 for 3 is just, it's just shit, man. When you had Evil Ball and you had the other attack that you can basically conserve energies on the bench. So it's not good. And the GX attack is also a pain to use. If your opponent's active Pokemon has exactly 4 damage counters, it is knocked out. I'm pretty sure that's what the effect is. So I guess maybe Death Count, you can maybe it can come up and you get a free knockout this way, but it's not that good, man. It's really not. And I mean, since the first attack and the GX attack function with 1 energy, I guess if Evil Sonic needed like 1 or 2 energies as well and did 100 or something, I mean, I would rather be a 2 energy attack that did 90. Maybe it would have been like a fast dark Pokemon kind of thing, early attacker, and then you can attack with the Darkrai's and shit. But the way it is now, it's very average. It's very average. Really, the best attack with any kind of potential is Absorb Vitality. The rest is just not good. Evil Sonic isn't a good attack. Death Count is hard to use. It's kind of disappointing. The art looks pretty good too. It's really sad. I guess they decided, well, we made the first Yveltal so broken, and we made sure it stuck along for a long time. Let's make the other one shit. So this kind of, I guess, you know, Yveltal cards could have had the potential of being the next broken Pokemon that always get great prints, but this kind of stopped the train early, I guess. Anyway, spent enough time on this dude. So next up we got Guzzlord. This dude is pretty fucked up. It has a pretty fucked up crazy effect, and a bad one. It's not a good one. Uh, it's a 160 HP basic Pokemon. So yeah, that is fucking high. I'm gonna admit that much. But it has only one attack, costs 4 fucking darkness energy. That's a lot. And it's gonna do 160. Now you're thinking, wow, that's pretty solid, man. But if you have 6, 4, or 2 prize cards, so uh, the prime, is it called prime numbers? I'm not sure. It's not odds, definitely. If you have any non-odd, uh, any non-odd number of prizes, so if you don't have 3, 1, or 5 prizes left, you discard the top 10 fucking cards of your deck. Dude, are you serious, man? It could have been like 5 and it would have been bad. But 10? That's crazy. This is some of the strongest deck out shit we've ever seen, like cost for deck out shit. 10 cards is bloody crazy, man. I mean, one of my favorite cards, the Salaman CX from Power Keepers, could do 150 back in the day, and you discard 5 energy cards, and that was rough. Another Pokemon that discard like 5 cards and 3 cards is a pretty rough effect. It indicates that, yeah, this attack is strong. That's why we have this kind of effect. But 10 cards, man, is just overkill. Are you gonna deck yourself out basically if you don't have 6, if you have like 6, 4, or 2 prize cards remaining, and you do this attack twice or even once, you can basically you're setting yourself up to be decked out. Basically, you just signed up your own deck out death, I guess. It's a lot. I mean, 20 cards, losing 20 cards. If you do this twice, crazy, man. Anyway, for Bebe next. Let's see. I, what the hell? I clicked on this dude again. Anyway, Flabebe. Looks very sad. Why are you sad, Flabebe? Weird. Evolutionary advantage. If you go second, this Pokemon can evolve during your first turn. Wow. Didn't know it had that. So, more shit that happens when you play first or second can be kind of interesting. I think these kinds of abilities are actually kind of cool. They could make you kind of maybe want a favor to go second or go first even more. Now, if they make a lot of Pokemon that have these kinds of neat effects if you go second, it should be good. Uh, it's a nice little ability. It can evolve straight up if you play second. Okay. The other Flabebe uses the concept art, not sprite art, to reveal up to 3 of any combination of Pokemon or basic energies from the discard pile and shuffle them to your deck. So this is basically a super rod / night maintenance in the form of an attack. Useful, I guess. Maybe it can come up in extreme situations to save your ass. And Floette. Now, Spinning Petal. Switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with their active Pokemon. Then you switch your dude. Okay, yeah. Not that hot. Florges. We get another Florges card. Looks cool. Man, stage 2 Pokemon with 120 HP. Why do all the Florges cards have shit HP? I mean, I think we had like in X and Y they had like 110. That wasn't good. And this one has 122. Fuck. So Wonder Gift. Once during your turn you can flip a coin. If heads, you can move an item card from your discard pile to the top of your deck. If it grabbed that straight up in the hand, it would have been maybe okay, since you have to flip a coin. But because it puts it on the top, I mean, it can still be good. It can still save your ass if that's what you wanted, that item card, but it would have been better if it was in the hand. And even then, it might not have been that great. I guess it's a stage 2 Pokemon, weak HP. And Misty Guard, during your next turn, it receives no damage from Dragon Pokemon. Oh great, as if Dragon Pokemon didn't have enough hate already, and no support. Yeah, but this is a weak card. I don't see this card doing shit. The ability could have been good, but I guess it's harder to use. It might be good too, even if you put it on top of the deck. Misty Guard is just Dragon Hate. Doesn't do much damage either. HP isn't good. I don't know. Next we got Sylveon. We get a Sylveon card. Wink. Look at your opponent's hand. If you find a supporter card there, I guess you can discard that card. Then use the effect of that supporter card as this Pokemon's attacks. So I believe there was a Sableye from, I think, Ancient Origins. I'm not sure. There's a Sableye that might even be around still that can do that shit. Use a supporter from your opponent's hand. I think it used it from the discard pile, that dude. I don't know. But I guess this is kind of a support attack, a support Pokemon. But it's a stage 1, so yeah, it's not the greatest. 90 HP is pretty average now, and 2 for 40 isn't that good. So not that great of a Pokemon to Dedenne. What kind of wacky art is this? Damn. Not a fan of this kind of art. Basic Pokemon, find a friend, search your deck for a Pokemon, you put it into your hand, not your bench. Okay, and Electric Chain. It's going to do 30 more damage if you have any lightning energy attached to this Pokemon. So 60 for 2. Alright. Klefki. Confusion and Fairlock. Your opponent's Pokemon can retreat 1 for 20. Yeah, it seems like we went from broken shit to average shit now. Let's see. We've come across Xerneas GX. So this Pokemon, I think it has the same stats as the other Xerneas too. I think it has more HP actually, 180 HP. The Darkness Resistance to retreat. Overrun does 20 damage and 20 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So this is the same attack from Manectrix EX from Phantom Forces. I think this guy can do this with... I think Manectric needed a lightning energy though. This guy can do this with any energy. It's a solid attack, I guess. It's obviously weaker than Boswell GX's attack, but it's still like 40 for 1 basically. It's good. Aurora Horn, 120 for 3. Standard, I guess, kind of nothing special. And Sanctuary GX, move all the damage counters on all of your Pokemon and play to your opponent's active Pokemon. Oh great, so this is a crazier fucking attack from Alola Ninetale GX's attack, that you move all the shit. So this is gonna move from all of your Pokemon, not just itself. So I guess if maybe there's an error once again, I don't know, but if it's how I'm reading it here on Cerebi right now, it's a busted GX attack. Not a very special Pokemon, I guess, besides the GX attack, but it's better than Yveltal. I'm gonna say that. The second attack is better. Overrun is, I guess it doesn't have the healing potential, but you do more damage, I guess, for 1 energy. 40 for 1. And Sanctuary GX can actually be game breaking as opposed to Yveltal GXs. So I guess Xerneas, they decided to make this dude better this time, even if it's just not by much. Okay. Next we got the Goomies. I know these guys do some shit. This guy has an ability. As long as this Pokemon is in play, your opponent's retreat cost is 1 more, increased by 1. And I'm pretty sure this can stack. So if you have a bunch of these little dudes, your opponent is going to have more retreat costs. With Float Stones, Switches, and Dawn Wings Nekrozma, this isn't really going to be block your opponents from retreating, make it harder for them much. But I do think there are Pokemon that can do more damage if they have the Pokemon have more retreat costs and shit. So you can kind of use this card for combos, I guess, for extra damage this way. And the other dude, I don't think it does anything. Yeah, they're using the concept art once again, good stuff. But it doesn't do anything. Oh no, actually it has flail now, remember. I checked this card before. It has flail, so I guess at the very least, if Gudra sucks, we can always use the memory berry shit, maybe. This dude doesn't do anything. Oh my god. Great. My computer is glitching up big time. Let's see here. Gudra. So this Pokemon, a dragon Pokemon, 160 HP. Hydration, when you attach water energy from your hand, heal 20 damage. And Silken Horn, basically it does 80. And if this Pokemon was healed, it's going to do 160 for 3. That's not bad. I guess it has some synergy with the ability. Maybe you're going to do some potion shit here. But yeah, I guess it's solid damage, but it won't be the easiest to use. Why would you use this when you can use Garchomp basically when Ultra Prism? That is the question. When that dude has more support. Anyway, all right. Now we're getting this is the broken Pokemon in this set. Ultra Nekrozma GX. So I haven't played in the end. I didn't play uh, Ultra Sun and Moon, so I don't know about all the story shit and stuff. But I guess this is like the god form of the super form of Necrozma. Has the highest base stats too. It's crazy what they've done, but yeah. This Pokemon basically kind of functions like the Necrozma GX from uh, Burning Shadows in that you can discard psychic energies and do a lot of damage from a Quasi style. It's gonna do fuck crazy damage though with Photon Gazer. You discard all psychic energies attached to this Pokemon, you do 80 more damage for each psychic energy discarded this way. It starts at 20, so basically if you just discard 3, you're doing 260 damage. You can knock out stage 2 GX Pokemon, no problems, no problems in the world, man, with just 3. Rayquaza is going to do 180 for 3 if it discards 3, so this is very high damage. You don't even need to discard 3, like with 2 it's going to be 180. So with a choice band with 210, you're knocking out some significant GX Pokemon too, but you know, with just 3, you're knocking out anything. You don't have to care about anything. Very powerful. And Light of Destruction GX. So your attack is the last Yu-Gi-Oh set from the GX era. Light of Destruction. Yeah, the Yu-Gi-Oh set. But uh, it only works if both of you guys have less than 6 prize cards combined. And you put 6 damage counters on each of your opponent's Pokemon. So I guess this can kind of be a finishing move, finishing attack to win the game. It's going to spread a lot of damage too. But yeah, the GX attack is powerful. Photon Gazer is extremely powerful. 190 HP Dragon Pokemon, so I guess it's Dragon. Wow, you get the Stadium support too, so yeah, this dude is gonna be knocking things out like it's nobody's business. It does the most damage I've seen for a Pokemon that discards energies, this kind of shit. For just discarding 3, you're doing 260. Fuck, man, it's a lot. It's really powerful. So the rayeels Necrozma deck shit with Malamar and this dude is a real thing. Uh, People thought like maybe the metal shit with Magnezone and Duskmane Necrozma was gonna be in some shit. This is gonna be even more busted. It's probably gonna be more consistent with grabbing energies from the discard pile with Malamar. And people have always thought that Ray is more consistent than Raybor, that kind of thing. That the recycling from the discard pile strategy like that. And both decks kind of have their ups and downs, if you ask me, that I've played them for so long. But this might be more consistent. This might be a better deck. You might make a better deck list with this that's more consistent. So it's going to be pretty powerful. I think I've said that a million times, but yeah. I guess there's no reason to use the Necrozma from Burning Shadows. It does less damage. It does pretty good damage too, but it does less damage. I guess it has the effect that it blocks damage from colorless Pokemon too. It has a few tricks here and there. So maybe you're going to use that as one of maybe. But this being the main attacker, you're going to knock out anything. It's got more HP too. Alright. We got an Eevee here. I know it doesn't do anything. I checked it out. We got an Eevee that doesn't do the evolution stuff it does. Okay. You got the bundle buy. Draw a card. Okay. Diggersby. This dude can do, I guess, 100 for 3, and then you discard 2 cards. And Rock Cannon, flip a coin until you get tails, the Victini shit. If you get a bunch of heads, I guess you're going to do a lot of damage. Next we got Frou-Frou. This Pokemon is kind of good. If you start with it, I guess, you do 20 for 1, and you can draw until you have 5 cards in your hand. Now, 5 cards is a pretty shit limit, but I guess it can be solid. It should have been 6 maybe, but nice little Pokemon. Now we got the Noibat here. This Pokemon actually has a pretty fucked up attack maybe. Destructive sound. Your opponent reveals their hand. You discard all items you find there. So with just 1 DCE, if you do this, it can be pretty messed up. Yeah, your opponent discarding so many item cards. And Noivern is pretty solid too, from what I remember. I checked this card as well. 120 HP, doesn't have retreat, but can do Supersonic, 1 for 20, and then next turn you put a DC on, and you're going to do 140. If your opponent's Pokemon is confused, it does 140, 70 plus 70 more. So, kind of a fast, aggressive little dude, I guess. So now all we got left is the trainers. Got Energy Portal. Move a special energy from one of your opponent's Pokemon to another of your opponent's Pokemon. Yeah, I remember this card. I read this too. I guess it can disrupt in some way, this card. Fossil Excavation Map. Some fossil support shit. This is a good card. You can search from your deck or your discard pile. You get an identified fossil and you put it into your hand. So this is nice. It's kind of like the Fossil Excavator, the supporter card. Not as good, but this is an item card. We can grab an identified fossil from the deck or from the discard pile. So this is a card that makes fossils much better. I've been waiting for a searching card for fossils for a long time, and this might be the thing that we're looking for to make fossil Pokemon solid at least. And you got the identified fossil. This card came out in Ultra Prism. I'm pretty sure it's the same card. It's basically your basic fossil Pokemon. You have to play this down to get to your fossil dudes. Not sure about the ruling still, but yeah, maybe you get a prize if you knock this out. Maybe you don't. I don't know. Ultra Ball, reprint, Rare Candy, Switch, Pokemon Catcher. At least they didn't reprint fucking Crush and Hammer again. Damn. And Mystery Treasure. This is another reason why the Psychic shit might be good, and it also works with Dragon too. So I guess Dragon Pokemon are finally getting some support. You discard a card from your hand, and then you can search your deck for any Psychic or Dragon Pokemon, and you put it into your hand. Very, very good. It's not limited to basic Pokemon like Nest Ball. You can basically grab anything. You can fucking put the Pokemon in your hand. So now Tapu Lele GX is gonna be even more sought after, I feel like, because you can just use this and you grab that dude that way. You don't even have to use Ultra Ball. You only discard 1 card, and that can be very, very good, man. You can do combos with it, discarding shit. This obviously works great with Malamar because you're going to discard energies with this too. Wow, yeah, that Malamar deck is probably going to be the top deck, man. It has everything it needs. From my experience as a rayeels player, it has everything it needs. It even gets some extra stuff that if the rayeels deck had, it would have been even crazier. Like this card is crazy for that deck. I've just now, I read this before, but I'm just now realizing how broken it is. Not only can you grab Tapu Lele for consistency, you can grab your Necrozmas, you can grab the Malamars, you can grab anything. Discards, setting up your discard pile, and yeah, busted. So another great card. Got the Choice Band reprint, and we get some other pretty solid cards too. Supporters. I read this card too before. Lady. So these are basically like the rich chicks from the mansion when you go in X and Y. I forgot what it was called. The Lumios Mansion. No, it wasn't called that, but whatever. So this card is pretty interesting. It's gonna make me think how I built my Raybor decks and Magnezone decks and that kind of shit, because it basically is like a double Professor's Letter in the form of a supporter. You use this, you grab 4 basic energy cards from your deck, you put them into your hand. So this is powerful because with this, we can straight up get the necessary energies we need, usually to have enough energies to attack and get a knockout with Rayquazas and what have you here. You get 4 energies, it's pretty good. Of course, it's a supporter, so you kind of have to build your decks differently, I feel like, at least the way I look at it. But it's definitely a nice card to have. I'm welcoming a card like this. Good effect. Great effect, actually. Next we got Diancie, little forgotten champion from X and Y. Yeah, she's one of the more forgotten ones, if you ask me. You can only play this card if one of your fairy Pokemon was knocked out during your opponent's last turn. Okay, you can grab 2 cards from your discard pile and put them into your hand. Okay, so it kind of acts like teammates, but from the discard pile instead of the deck. And one of your fairy Pokemon have to get knocked out. I thought it was any Pokemon has to get knocked out when I read this. I think I don't remember how long ago, but when it was announced on Poke Beach and shit. Right. Okay. I guess good card for fairy decks too. Maybe. You got the Judge reprint. Both players shuffle a hand, draw 3 cards. How reprint? I don't know why I clicked on you. Then you got a Lysander Prism. So like Cyrus Prism, I guess since the Kalos theme booster, they have Lysander as Prism card, but he's not that good. He's very specific, has very specific uses. For each of your fire Pokemon in play, you move a card from your opponent's discard pile into the Lost Zone. So I guess it's like a Yu-Gi-Oh card that, yeah, you remove from play cards from your opponent's discard pile. It can be something. You can fuck up your opponent big time. I mean, I guess you can definitely fuck up the Psychic deck here if you remove a lot of their Psychic energies from there. But you can only play one since it's a Prism card. It only works with fire. And I'm not sure if there are any good Fire Prism cards yet. I don't think they've been released yet. From what I'm thinking, I don't think there's any Fire Prism cards yet. But I imagine when we do get some, they're going to be much better than this. I mean, even if there aren't any Prism Fire cards, you might not really want to run this card. It has a very specific effect. It can be pretty powerful, I guess. It's a pretty big counter to decks, but I don't know. It definitely might be good against something like Night March, maybe, but you can use, I forgot her name, Karen, yeah. She works better, though, in that. Bony. So this is the card I was talking about when I was talking about the GX attack for uh, oh man, what the fuck am I doing? Forgetting the name. Zygarde. Yeah. So basically, this can only be used if you have a stadium card in play. If there's a stadium, you discard that stadium. And if you already use your GX attack this turn, Zygarde GX can use the GX attack again. So it's not the most ideal way to reuse the GX attack on Zygarde, but I guess it's one of the ways, if you really want to do it again and not let your opponent fuck you up with EX or GX Pokemon next turn. I don't know. It's there. It's one of the methods. It's good that it doesn't work with everything because that would have been crazy. You got the Lily reprint and Lysander Labs. This might be the card that the Pyroar needs to get the additional damage to, because I don't think there's any other Stadium card in here. It was called Flare Labs though in his effect. So yeah, all Pokemon tools have no effects. That's it. I guess this can block Float Stone. This can fuck you up, fuck your opponent up in different ways. I'm not sure though if it's gonna replace other stadiums. I feel like in certain decks it can. It's a very good effect. It's basically the effect of, well, no, or maybe, yeah, there was a Benetti that had that effect. So, who knows? They're printing double colorless energy, for fuck's sake again. We're gonna have this forever, it seems. Damn it. And unit energy, this is like the other energies that got released in Ultra Prism that can provide these types, but only provide one at a time. This one is going to provide Fighting, Darkness, and Fairy. So I think that's all the rest of the types left. Yeah. So they had that plan. And that's basically it. The rest of the stuff is just secret rares and full arts. And yeah, I think I rambled for far too long, even though this was supposed to be a shorter set. The thing is, what happened is I started recording this video, and then a fucking interruption had to happen. 2 interruptions actually. So I'm basically recording this. I recorded, I guess you could say, the first 25 minutes, and then the rest today. Yeah, I recorded the 25 minutes yesterday and the rest today. But this is a very powerful set. I know I fucking say this with every set, but it seems this is what they do now. They make sure they one-up themselves, add something significant to sets when they get released. People say Crimson Invasion was weak. I guess if you compare it with the other sets, maybe. It does have some important cards, though, that set still. But this is definitely powerful. Between the Psychic support, between the diancie for fighting decks, they can use that. Some excellent trainers. I mean, I guess the Fossil support might not do anything, but Mystery Treasure is going to be very good. I mean, Mystery Treasure, you can fucking use this in basically any deck. You don't have to run the Psychic Malamar deck to run this deck. It grabs fucking Tapu Lele GX, so people are going to use that. Dragon Pokemon get a little bit of help too with that. There's Lady. Magnezone decks are going to use this, both the Metal one and the Lightning one. Some Fairy support. It's got a lot of shit. It probably doesn't have a lot of Stage 2 Pokemon, I guess, that are crazy strong. And, you know, the GX Pokemon, when you think about it, besides the Nekrozma, they're not that impressive. Zygarde is solid, I guess. And, of course, Ultra Necrozma is very good. Greninja might be pretty good too. But I feel like the fucking Malamar deck just is gonna take over everything when this deck comes out. When this set comes out. Pretty powerful. So if you want to use a deck like Rayeels once again, where you can grab energies from the discard pile, put them on the bench Pokemon, this is your set. You're going to be able to do this with the Psychic Pokemon. Ultra Necrozma is fantastic, man. And there might be other attackers too. But anyways, guys, hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys subscribe, leave a like, share this with your friends. SaberWolf94, what's up?